want to start, Debbie, or do you want to wait a few minutes?
We could start.
Okay,
Ready?
let's do it.
All right. Chair Reese Adams.
Here.
Vice Chair Martin Gilmore.
Here.
Kyle Conrad.
Here.
Amy Fox.
Here.
Stacy Potash.
Here.
Leah Moran.
Here.
And we have Councilmember Chelsea Newdenkamp.
Present.
And as of right now, those not present, alternate member Monica Alvarez, MOA Representative Tim Baca, Inglewood Public Schools Liaison Emily Ancona. Julie Parker is excused. Staff, we have Director Christina Underhill and Event Supervisor Tony Arnoldy. They're outside monitoring the door. All right, we are set.
Thank you. Okay, let's move to the approval of the minutes from last meeting, which was a good one.
I'll move to approve the minutes.
Thank you, Kyle. Can I please have a second?
I'll second.
Thank you.
Amy, was that you?
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed to the minutes? Awesome, thank you. Okay, do we have public comment tonight?
So Meg was going to join us. So Meg Donaldson was going to join us virtually. So I say we move on to the other items and then.
Okay. Okay.
She did receive a link, so.
Okay, awesome. All right, well then, we will move on to the median art. Last meeting, we discussed it. And I think the takeaway was that we were gonna kind of chew on whether or not we wanted, well, new and old, but also in consideration of the budget. And what the city wants or is able to contribute to that might dictate what we are able, or what we end up deciding. I know there's, it's not on here, but I wanted to mention it. There are two big projects. So the median art and then also the overpass at Dartmouth, right, in Santa Fe. And so those are two large budget items that we'll be considering, but something that I think if we sort of have a better sense, do you have a sense of what, whatever the budget might be, will kind of dictate what it is, what direction we go. So let's start, we're not going to talk about the overpass right now, but let's go ahead and start with the median. Has anybody thought about it, wanted to weigh in on their preference, or?
Sorry, I missed last meeting. I think we were looking for new pieces of art are going to be like 30 to 50, right?
Right, so I did a little bit of research around the country, and new art can go up to like 30 to 50,000. Existing below that amount. This is kind of our like kickoff piece. So I don't know that we want to or can spend $30,000 to $50,000 on a new piece of art exclusively from the CAC budget. So, I mean, that was actually the direction originally that I was going, but I thought, well, this is going to be this is a lot. So, so as like a kickoff piece, if we did a call for, we could do new or existing, right? And that price range kind of goes from 5 to 15. So I thought, well, let's just keep it easy, split the middle. And if we did a call for 10,000 for new or existing art with, now the parameters would be fairly all-inclusive. So you install, it's your art. You know, we work together obviously in symphony with the city, but if that's something that we want to start with, we can. If it seems like we want to go a little bit bigger, then I think you might need to talk about where the funds are going to come from.
We do have some funding for median improvements, and so far it's been spent on like landscaping, 'cause that irrigation and landscaping need to be updated. And we do have some funding left in that capital line item that could be utilized if there's a piece of art that we find that's just like, we've gotta have that. So I think there's some wiggle room. You could do the call for artists and see what you get,
Okay.
and have that first range. And then if we find something more significant that really is, everybody agrees this is great, we can then look at additional funding options.
Okay. Okay.
Sorry, I don't have it here in front of me. What's the budget like right now?
It's about, I think we're about 80-some thousand. Mhm.
And what are the projects that we have coming up?
So we've got this one. We have, we will have the overpass, which we need to probably kind of pencil in for new business here. I don't know.
And that doesn't necessarily have to be the overpass. It can be the sidewall, just welcome to Inglewood or
Right.
something that signifies,
Right.
so.
So depending on which direction we go, that will significantly change the budget just because you'll be talking about the overpass
Right.
versus walls. Block party we'll be looking at tonight. That's about $1,000. We will have some expenditures for the artist meet and greet. And then
We have the music.
we have the music, obviously, which we've already approved. So those are kind of the big hitters right now.
And what do we expect to get from next year's budget? I mean, I don't know, what's it like 15 per year-ish?
It's been about that. I think last year was 18. I think projected for next year is around 23 or 24,000 as an additional. So it's not enough to do huge projects, but you are continuing to build,
Yeah.
so.
Yeah, and I think this year for the median project, will probably give us a lot of insight for future median artwork. And I also, like, thinking long-term, who knows when the downtown development project will be done, but that in and of itself will be probably an entire initiative, just in and of itself. So,
I guess my concern is like with existing stuff, it sounds like a good idea, but that's art that's gonna already be weathered,
no,
perhaps.
I mean, not necessarily. I
Yeah.
mean, it could be, have been in a private collection, could have been interior, could have been something that somebody's already worked on.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I mean, I guess I don't wanna, whatever we make needs to be able to survive some pretty harsh conditions, or whatever we.
Well, and I think that's part of the reason why maybe doing something new or existing at like a $10,000 mark, knowing that we have to spend probably 25% of that for conservation. But if you go to 30 to 50 and still have to plan an additional
Yeah.
25, that becomes like a serious investment.
Yeah, I just think that even though I guess it's tempting to do something cheaper, it's also good to think about doing something that's gonna last.
So, I mean, I think another option would be kicking in some funds from a median line item and sort of raising that bar a little bit and saying 15. I don't know what the funds look like. I don't know what that line item looks like.
Yeah, I would almost say you could probably go up to 25 or 30 and see what you get. And then, I mean, you don't have to accept any of them if we don't find something we want, or it's out of the range that we're looking, but it may give us a good idea, knowing that we have a lot of opportunity in the medians for future art, not just this year, but years to come. And so, I would almost go a little bit bigger for this first one and focus on the entry point, like if we did the Hampton median here, the very first one.
Yeah.
So that's your welcome to Inglewood first thing, just like the grass is on the north side, so.
It needs to be like something not small and,
If we have that much money to play with, then, I'm not play with, but you know what I mean? Like, if we have that available, then I would be a lot more comfortable going into like the $25,000 range.
Yeah.
And being able to, even from a CAC budget, be able to put 25% towards it.
Right.
Could we do, this might be dumb, but could we do two different calls where one is like a group of 10 to 20 and one's a group of 20 to 30? Or do you always do them all together as one call?
I think if we did 2 calls, it would be 2 pieces.
yeah.
Okay,
So-
so then we'd have to get,
Yeah,
okay, so we'd have to do one call and we couldn't stipulate in there like I don't know. I'm just trying to think of a way to encourage artists to put it in at 10 and not put it in at 30, you know?
That's never gonna work there.
Yeah, well, and I would be like kind of, you know, if somebody has an existing piece that they want to put in 10 that we really love, I don't want to like dissuade them, but I don't want to overpay or underpay. I want it to be fair. But I do think like a $25,000 mark gets us very much closer to like brand new
Okay.
and certainly well paying for existing.
So maybe that's the number.
Yeah, so that might be a good number if that definitely is a plus 15 from median. And a 10 and a plus 10 from CAC plus the point, like the 25% on top of that.
I guess, and this is just me being curious, do we know what the parameters are gonna be for what the materials it's made out of and the requirements for
Yeah,
how tall it is?
some of that stuff I think we're gonna have to work through with Public Works, but
I-
for the other parameters, from a lot of the other public art calls, it's like you provide the art, you provide the installation, you provide the insurance, and we will provide the logistics.
I'm just thinking like, for the call, we're gonna need to know like what materials they're working with, the size of the piece.
I mean, yes,
Yeah.
we'll have to put together a full like scope.
So probably sooner rather than later, I would think.
I think, yeah, I think the budget's probably the most, that'll dictate a lot.
And two, we'll be on, if we do Hampden, that's gonna be CDOTs, we're gonna have to get permits
Right.
to, and permit fees in addition, so.
How much is that, how much of those?
I don't know off the top of my head, we just did one, I don't even wanna say, cause it might have not been as much as what I'm thinking. But the hope would be they could do like a overnight install, so less traffic and
Yeah,
depending on what the piece is, a crane may have to come in and
Right.
all those sort of things.
Right.
So there's kind of a lot of moving parts that we're not, until we select something,
correct.
we won't know. So we'll want to put a little buffer, and that could be where that median budget comes into play somewhat too, of picking up where maybe the CAC doesn't have the funding, but we have it in a different line outside of CAC that we could help cover that cost.
I'm happy to, I seem to be kind of without a subcommittee sort of thing other than the music stuff. I'm happy to contact Public Works about this. I'm not sure I know all the questions to ask, but I can do it.
I have some, I'm like not into reinventing the wheel, but I have some sample calls from other cities
Okay,
that are pretty inclusive of what their expectations are from an artist. So I would look to replicate that.
okay. Maybe you could share those with me.
Yeah.
And I'm happy to take a kind of
Okay, well, I think then at this point, we need to probably look at approving some expenditures out of the CAC budget. So if we say that the CAC wants to kick in 10,000 plus a 25% on top of, so for the conservation on top of a 25,000, we're talking about $16,250 out of the CAC budget, with the remainder coming from a line item in the median.
16,000, how much?
16,250.
Do you want to set that aside for this?
Yeah. I don't know if
You
you want to
feel
have a
good about that?
discussion.
Yeah.
You feel good about that amount?
I mean, we have kind of a good cushion from the last few years. And so I feel better about it now than I probably would have like 2 or 3 years ago.
I think whatever we put there, we want it to be nice, so.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah.
Well, I'll make a motion to set aside $16,250 for the median art.
Thank you, Martin.
And that's just for the one, right?
Just for the one.
Okay, I'll second that.
Thank you, Kyle. Okay, well then, Martin, you and I can work on the call, and then we can, between now and the next meeting, run it through the committee to look at or the whole commission to look at, and if we want to make any changes, we can, of course, with the city as well.
Vote on the
Oh, yeah.
motion.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Thank you.
Okay, thank you.
Okay. Okay, so the median art is moving forward. All right, good. Okay.
And Meg has joined.
Okay.
Let's go ahead and then go back to Meg if you want.
Yeah, apologies. I had two links and I was waiting to be admitted into the wrong link.
Meg, do you have anything that you want to discuss tonight?
Well, I thought I would provide an update and then just on where we're at. I don't have much more information than what I've already provided to you all, but we were awarded the neighborhood grant, improvement grant for $3,000. I do not have a contract yet, so we're still working through some of the details to finalize that and have access to move forward. But that's good news. We're close, I think, to move forward with that. And within that budget, I had $600 set aside for mural materials and supplies to help move that portion of the project forward and hopefully collaborate with you all. One of the stipulations in the contract is to work with you all, whether it extensively, as we've discussed previously with high school students, potentially some funding support and other items. But aside from all of that, regardless, we'll still need to work with you on plans and whatnot.
Design.
Yeah.
Okay, sorry to interrupt. Go ahead.
No, that's okay. I think the only other update I have to share with everyone is I touched base with Emily with the school district, and there is an artist in our neighborhood that expressed interest in helping work with the students. So we have a potential mentor, I guess, as well to move forward with if that's an option. So.
Okay.
Those are all my.
Okay, so at this point, knowing that you have the $3,000 grant, do you feel like you're still seeking financial contribution from the CAC, or are we more in a advisory and planning?
I think both still. I did receive one budget proposal from one of the school district's previous mural projects, and it's much more extensive than what we are envisioning for this project. But the total for just materials, stencils, graffiti guards was about $3,000 in total. And again, I think this will be less extensive, but I only have right now earmarked about $600 for the mural piece. So if there is some financial support to improve the mural, that would be wonderful. But then also planning and advisory role.
Okay. Out of curiosity, what would you be doing with the remaining $2,400 from the grant?
I'm happy to share the scope of work. We're going to be building planters, planting plants in them, building a middle school library, and the mural are the main components. And then also be working with the city to add some signage for our neighborhood once that is available as well.
So I know we talked about that piece of property right there. One, not in good shape, but so that is, I would say, concerning. Do you know of any plans to do anything with it?
No, not at this time. Public Works, well, it's a EAF property currently.
Yeah.
And so that's been part of the challenge with getting this project off the ground and why there's an agreement going into place with the neighborhood and what's going to happen. And so for overall improvements, I need to check with our Public Works director to see. I don't think there's any intention in improving the lot, but at the same time, not saying there wouldn't be because of a project like this moving forward. So Our director for Public Works, I think, is out of town until mid next week, so I'll touch base and find out.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, when you received the proposal for the mural at the $3,000 mark, had whoever you received that from, had they seen the state of the location as it is right now?
The budget that I received was just a sample from another project. It wasn't site specific.
Okay.
Well, I guess the question is there funding that needs to be approved by us today?
I guess, Meg, that's a good question. Are you looking for funding to be approved today?
Well, I don't know how to answer that quite, so I'll think through it out loud if that's okay for a minute. Yes, I mean, I think that we don't have a great sense of cost yet. You know, the plan when we initially spoke in April was to kind of start to work with the high school students and see what their interest and engagement would be and what that would potentially be able to bring to the project. You know, part of the proposal was also seeking some guidance and feedback on what, you know, it would cost potentially to do this project, and get some guidance around that. So I don't really have a number to ask for yet. I guess is kind of where we're
Okay.
at.
I have a question too. Meg, did you include any cleanup costs on that in your budget, like a dumpster or any like taking out those weeds? I don't know if it's dumpster worthy, but maybe like a trash, you know, like a bag, like is any of that included?
No,
'Cause
I
I'm
figured we would just absorb that. You know, I live right around the corner and you know, there's some loose debris that we could easily sweep up. We can do some weed spray. I think the cleanup portion is pretty minimal. I mean, it's not, as you noticed, a pristine canvas. But I think, you know, that's cost prohibitive in our budget. So we would do our best to prep the site to be as best as it can be, so.
That's a good question.
Okay. Well, I just think we need a specific number to,
Yeah, I feel the same way.
but that's fine.
I think we need to, I feel comfortable saying that from an advisory and working with the high school, I think that, you know, once they're back in session, that would probably be very doable. It's hard for me to wrap my head around what the cost is going to be given the current state of the property.
Is that something that you're able to help identify, or is that something I can work with the school district on? I guess that was, you know, one of the parts coming to you all.
So we need to talk to Public Works about the cleanup.
I think we need to talk to Public Works about the state of the actual piece of land and
then figure out how that factors into the estimate so we know exactly.
yes, and what it would take to get it to a place that
It's easy to paint on.
it's easy to paint, that it will last for a reasonable amount of time. And so that we're not having to, you know, I mean, the upkeep, I don't want you guys to go through all this work and then one season comes in and it's gone.
Yeah, I can appreciate that. I think the one thing I didn't mention either is that I think this is meant to be temporary. We don't have, you know, unlimited access to the lot. If there is something that will be planned on this piece of property in the future, you know, it would not remain as is, and they've guaranteed at least a year. So we are looking at a relatively short term period as well.
Less than I'm sorry, I didn't hear that. Did you say like less than a year?
No, they've guaranteed.
Oh, guaranteed at least a year.
Yeah. So it, you know, it will have wear and tear on that site, and the neighborhood is, you know, willing to upkeep it. But I do think it's more a temporary solution than a permanent installation.
Okay.
Is the mural going on that cement that is
Yes.
now being, it looks, yeah, that's a big concern for sure.
Yeah.
Clean up.
Yeah.
Okay, so we can find out about Public Works.
Yeah.
I can do it.
I'll
You can do
reach
it.
out. Yeah.
Okay. I think that'd be helpful.
And
I mean,
that'll give us a
that'll-
better,
Starting.
Yeah.
based on
Well, and truthfully, we've been talking about this for several months now, so we've been able to see it in various iterations throughout the seasons. And so, yeah, I think having that would be helpful. Sorry, Kyle, were you going to say something?
Oh, no, I just think like even if Public Works was maybe even willing to help them with the surface, just so it is nice if we're gonna ask the high school students to put effort into the art, to have a flat, less cracked surface,
Right.
if they can fill it in with cement. I don't know, I mean, I know cement's not cheap, but if that's like another $1,000 to resurface it and then they can paint, that would be kind of nice, you know?
Is that lot all cement or is there asphalt?
It's all cement, I think.
It's all asphalt.
Asphalt.
Oh, the
Asphalt?
opposite, okay.
So
I
just to
thought it
give
was-
a
in my mind, it was
price
cement.
range, we got a quote to redo Farm and Train's parking lot and it came in at $90,000.
Whoa.
If you've been to Farm and Train, that's a much larger lot than
Yeah.
what we're talking, but even if it's a third, we're talking a lot.
Never mind.
So there's,
I'll take
well,
that, I'll take that back. I thought it was cement in my head, the picture.
I thought it was cement too.
I thought it was cement with cracks and.
Can it turn to cement? How do we feel about it?
Cement is expensive too. Well, I'll talk to Public Works
Okay.
and just, even if it's crack filling, you know, for cement or asphalt, to see what options exist. I'm not expert in that area, but
Seems like
Okay.
it's asphalt, they should be able to.
asphalt, you could do an overlay on it, but yeah, we'll look into it a little further. It would be nice to clean that up before we do any improvements, but I'll get that cost and what that looks like.
Okay, I think that's helpful. Does that work, Meg? For you
Yeah,
guys?
No, that sounds great. I do have concerns that it will be cost prohibitive, but it's worth looking into and seeing what we can do. And then I guess as far as next steps on my end, I don't know, I'm sorry, I don't know who's in the room, but if Emily's there, or are there things I can be doing to help move this forward in the meantime with the school district or?
I will tell you from my perspective, I love the idea of the little library, benches, and the mural. I also would caution you on plants, because that creates a big commitment among neighbors of who's gonna water it and haul water over, because I doubt there's a tap for water. And you're gonna have plants on asphalt, which we know heats.
Yeah.
So I don't think you might not have great success. So if you're making a huge budget around plants, that might not be as, I might lean more towards those hard structures in color, because that will be more sustainable for 5 years versus like plants that might not even make it this season and they're expensive. And I love plants. I mean, I want you all to have plants. I just don't want to create neighbor tension of who's going to water the plants, you know?
No, I appreciate that. And we have discussed that. I think we're thinking some hardy perennial grasses and hoping, all the neighbors on that corner are willing to pitch in and help. So it'll be minimal planting, but I do appreciate that comment. It is a challenge, but there's a strong desire to have some
Green.
life on that lot. So
Yeah, I get that.
trying to balance those things.
Okay. So Emily's not here, but our takeaway then will be to figure out how we can get that lot, what it would take to get that lot in a shape that makes it feasible to paint. And from there, I think we can work with Emily a little bit more to devise the strategy. But I think that's where we need to start, is with Public Works.
And just one other tidbit of information, I guess, the grant does expire at the end of the year. So it would be something that we would have to address,
Yep.
Yeah.
summer and fall, not after the snow, I guess. So.
Yep.
just
I think the thing that we just need is a specific number of what you need from us, I guess, before we can.
Yeah, I think a little more legwork would be.
I think by the next meeting, we'll have some ideas of, if we can do an overlay on that lot, what that's gonna look like. If we can't, then how do we fix that lot up without investing a whole lot of money into it, and
Right.
more to discuss at the next meeting, so,
Right.
yeah.
Okay.
Okay. Okay.
Great. Well, thank you. And I'll see what I can do on my end. And I guess we'll see you next month.
Sounds good. Thanks, Meg. Appreciate it.
Thanks.
Okay. All right, let's move on to the block party. So we have before you 3 submissions. So tonight is the night that we will vote on the artist who will present the interactive art at the block party. It's a 3-hour commitment. So we'll decide tonight so that the artist has enough time before the block party next month to organize, and we can work with them to figure out the logistics. But, so the first one is Charles Woolridge, and I'm not going to read it, but we'll take a little bit of time here to look through his proposal. Each of them have like we have a little opening statement and a little bit more information about the proposals. So we could just take like 5 to go through them. And we can have some discussion and then vote. And for the purposes of this, I'm going to number them in the order that they came in. So Charles will be number 1, Lexus will be number 2, and Kelly will be number 3. Of course, not order of favoritism, it's just how we receive them.
Okay, Chelsea and Monica, that is Charles Woodfish. Do you want them to review each one separately and then,
I think
is that how?
I think we should just review each one separately, like kind of independently, and then we can kind of come together and figure out.
Since you guys have copies in front of you.
Yes.
They're just
Oh.
online.
Do they have the artist intro?
They do not.
Okay.
Let me just put it back on that screen.
Meg.
Kind of letting them view. Kind of give them a mic.
Have we had enough time? Do we feel comfortable in voting at this point? Okay. All right, let's go ahead and take a vote.
Can I ask a few questions?
Sure.
So this is pretty specific on where it needs to be. Is that an option, even an option for us?
I don't know, but I would say that, yes, number 3, we will have to consider a formal installation spot, and it doesn't have, I don't think it has to be there, and I don't know that it can be there, but that will be part of this process, is figuring out the implementation and installation of it, so. Okay. Shall we go?
Do you want me to just go through? You guys can say 1, 2, or 3.
Great.
All right. Reese,
2.
Martin,
2.
Kyle,
3.
Amy,
3.
Stacy,
2.
and Leah.
2.
2. And actually, Monica, you're able to vote with Julie Parker being not present tonight. Do you
Okay.
have a vote?
3.
3? Okay. So we have 4 for 2 and 3 for 3, the third one.
Okay. Well, then Lexus Creek will be our artist at this year's block party. And Debbie, do you want to email her? Do you want me to email her?
Whatever you prefer, I'm happy to.
Okay.
And do you want me to just tell her that you'll be in touch at a later point, or we?
Yeah, I think we should probably link her up with Tony
Okay.
so that we can, so that Tony can help with the logistics of placement and.
Okay.
Were these all the submissions that we got? We had these, those are all really good.
Yeah, they're very interesting.
Yeah, really good submissions.
You're all-
That was so hard.
And they're all Englewood artists.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Okay, thank you, everyone. Okay, let's move on to artist meet and greet.
Awesome. So Okay, so the alley did get permission from all the people, so we have the alley.
Oh.
It's, it's a go.
I saw, Devils had posted, they've been posting about it, so
Yeah.
good.
So they're
That's awesome.
really excited about the alley. I did meet with Chaz today and Adam, to figure out some logistics on their end. Also, Cafe 180 is gonna provide the food, so they're gonna do 40 to 50 boxes for us, depending on what we request, of little charcuterie boxes that are all self-contained, so people can walk around with them. So there will be no cleanup, no additional silverware, they just grab their box, walk off and eat.
Amazing.
We've gotten one sponsorship for beverages, from the MOA, which I think I said last time. And then the big thing right now is that we just need to, I need to work with Debbie, because I know Public Works needs to get involved at this point. I think we have figured out a place to park the trailer
Do we have to
across
permit
the
this?
street.
We're gonna be annoying to Public Works.
I know, they're gonna be mad, I'm so sorry.
Sorry, Kyle,
different people.
just, we have 2 sponsors for beverages.
Oh, awesome. So
Yeah. So we've got some extra money there, which is great.
Yeah. And so we'll do ticketed, just like we did at the wine, or the horse event. I also wanted to bring up the idea, you know, the horses that went in storage, could we pull those out for this night and put them up as art?
Do we, I was gonna mention that anyway, but good segue. Have we figured out the base situation?
The fear is damaging the horse, putting it on a base, so we have talked about it, but no solution as of yet, because even what was the base when we installed them obviously didn't hold on some of them.
Right.
I know a person we can call to look at it.
Okay.
See what they, yeah,
Yeah.
because it's fiberglass with hollowed legs, so.
I talked to him about that, and I think he can do it. But
Would he be able to even provide like a consulting role so that the city could do it and then?
I would say probably, I don't know, but probably.
Okay.
Yeah, because if it's something we want to have as like a traveling piece to use at different events, it needs to be something we can easily move. It can be secure if somebody were to jump on it and want to get their picture.
And if there's any other art from the city, I don't know if there's any other mobile art. Horses came to mind because I think they are a couple, at least 2 I think are mobile at this point. Is it 2 or 1?
3.
Or 3. I thought it would be really cool to have them at this event as art displays in the alley for people to experience.
I'll have a look at it. I don't know. Well, I don't know if you can have it ready for.
Maybe, could you shoot us a picture, like somebody shoot us a picture of where, what they, like the bottom of it right now?
Yeah.
And I have the dimension, you know, the dimensions are just like tiny little guys, but.
I think we may not need a base for this event as long as somebody's kind of keeping an eye on
Well,
them.
they have that kind of
Watch
caged
the
off
horse.
area back there.
We might be able to put them in the bar area or something.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Okay. And from an RSVP perspective, do you feel we're good there? Or do you think that that's gonna be like the bulk of what we're getting, or do you think there's gonna be?
I don't know what Devil's Head Distillery, like, I've asked them if they could share me their contacts, because they had a whole bunch, and they
Yeah.
have not yet.
But they did sound like they have
But they have
probably
quite a
20
few
people
people.
coming.
Yeah.
How has the response been from the local galleries?
Would ask Leah, Julie, if you guys walk the flyers around or?
I would say, because I walked Broadway at this point like 3 or 4 weeks ago, and it was pretty, like people were excited about it, but I didn't get like a.
And
"Oh,
gallery
we've
owners,
definitely
I'd
been
say.
there." Yeah.
Yeah.
And like the businesses that we asked to, or that I asked to like put flyers up, I don't know if they actually put them up. A lot of them said they would, so I actually was gonna kind of follow up. I'm gonna be down on Broadway tomorrow evening, so we'll kind of scope it out.
Yeah.
And I'll carry some with me and be like, did you lose it? Because I have another one that you can hang up.
Yeah.
I can hang it up for you. I brought my own tape.
I just wanna make sure that the participation matches the effort.
Yeah.
The other thing I think, things I've learned from this process so far is next time, I do think we should do like an event bite with an RSVP, and I also think I should have put a QR code on all the flyers for people to RSVP from the flyer. But it's retrospect. I'm living and learning things that I wish I had done as I was like guessing on food and guessing on some of these things
Fair.
from different perspectives. I'm like, we really should have had like the QR, you know, I just didn't think about it. So that I'll take ownership that that's my miss of
But I
that
mean,
what's making me crazy right now.
okay.
So.
Okay, well, are you guys gonna send the, e-bite out like again? Okay,
It reminds people, I need to look and see what our numbers are,
okay,
which I'm trying to do right now.
okay.
But whatever our numbers are, and I mean, they were decent, about a week ago.
Okay,
So, I would imagine that we're probably going to see, I don't know if we're gonna hit the 100 the Devil's Head wanted, but I think we'll be around 50 to 75.
okay,
Which is
Okay.
pretty fun.
I know I work at Swallow Hill. I know it's not in Englewood, but their parking lot is in Englewood.
I consider them Inglewood.
Yeah, I don't know if you take flyers.
I will. I go to
Yeah,
music
then-
class there every
because
Monday, so we'll run
There are a
stuff.
lot of people that go through there.
that'd be awesome.
And I'll send out an organization.
Yeah, and do send your friends or forward on the invite so we can get it would be good, like those of you who have connections, so it's coming from somebody personal,
Yeah.
I think helps with these
Yes.
things versus the broader throw out, you know, like when they know somebody's gonna be there, it helps. The other thing that, so there's a couple things. So for Tony, my question was, do we have any access to tablecloths from the city by chance for the tables in the trailer? Or is that a no?
I have event ones, but I have an event that night.
Oh, so never mind. Okay, no worries. I told them
That's my only problem.
I told them I would ask, and I said if we didn't, I would figure it out.
You might ask Madeline. She might have
Oh.
tablecloths in there.
Who's
Ellen
Matt?
does,
The trailers, the
Oh,
neighborhood
okay.
night
Okay,
trailers.
I will.
So, this is going to kind of, so the trailer, I'm not sure Public Works is going to approve it.
Okay.
For in the alleyway.
Okay,
And we do have the event like Tony's talking about, which is requiring park staff to be
Okay.
at that. There is, if we can get it to work out, the trailer is reserved the next day to go to a neighborhood.
okay.
But if it's the games that you're wanting,
It's the tables and chairs.
How
Is the
many
tables and
tables and
chairs?
chairs do you think you'll need?
We talked about like maybe it would be nice to have 4 tables for outside and then some chairs around them. But we don't need it to be a sitting event. I just wanted to offer people
Okay.
that option for outside, like for
Mhm.
to eat outside, you know, like to accommodate those outside folks who don't want to be inside. So there's tables and chairs inside, so we don't need to worry about that. It's just that outside stretch. And I was thinking it would make the alley look more full too if we had like 4 or 5 tables and some chairs that we could kind of cluster.
Yeah, I don't know what Swallow Hill has. They might have something like that.
Okay,
Might be
Because
what we're talking
we can probably pull some of those tables and chairs out and bring those in addition to the horses and drop them off.
okay, that's fine.
And
And
then
I'm,
maybe work
And we
with
can set
Devil's Head to pick up next day.
I think we could stash it all in Devil's Head that night and then come back the next day and load it.
Yeah, if
The
you
other,
could, whoever has, if you have the contact with Devil's Head, just ask them, make sure that's okay. We
I
can
will.
leave them there overnight and then Parks can pick them up next day.
yeah, I told Ches I'd follow up with
Okay.
him after this meeting. The other thing I wanted to look at too was one barricade.
Oh, okay, yep.
We'll need at least one. Yeah, I think you only need one for that alley because it's it's an alley with a
Yeah.
parking lot behind it. It would be nice to, I don't know if we need 2 to fill the whole alley or if one's enough, but probably one's enough to.
I think the one on the side of Whiskey Biscuit, because it's got a blind corner, would probably be a.
How about we bring 2 barricades?
Yeah, if we can bring
I think 2
that'd be
is
great.
that, I think
Yeah.
2 just to cover
Yeah.
if we need it, but I definitely need 1.
Okay.
But yeah, we don't need the games, even though I think the games would be nice in case people want them, but I think the distiller was like, they don't feel like they need it with this type of event, so.
Okay.
Yeah.
Bubbles.
Bubbles.
we got bubbles.
I got bubbles.
Okay, so, hold on. And then I have some stuff for the subcommittee as far as like alley decorating requests. Versus any other art that we think, I was also gonna see if there's any other guilds I should ask if we want them to be able to hang their art around
There's a guild, in Littleton.
I went there. The
Okay.
Depot Guild. I also might go present with them too. I was gonna talk to you about that, Reese, because, it sounds like they do wanna hear more about a potential studio art tour or art walk, and so, Penny's supposed to get in contact with me about coming and presenting to the guild for future.
Yeah, so definitely Black Cube.
Black Cube. I did email them to sponsor this event and never heard back, but,
Doesn't surprise me. Talk Gallery, make sure you go to Talk. Black Book, and then there is a new gallery that I need to look up that is on the, I wanna say, it's behind the kitchen and bath store on South Broadway and like Chenango or something down that way. I'll look it up. It's, I think it literally, blue tile, which is on that side. But it literally just opened up recently, so, I haven't been able to make it down there yet.
and I never heard back from the Inglewood Opera either. Or the, not Colorado Opera, sorry. They're just in Inglewood in my mind.
Yeah,
Okay, I didn't hear back from them either.
and, Frame to Art. Needs to be contacted.
Oh, and for the food, I told Cafe 180 we'd put 400 towards it, assuming that it would be around 100 for printing at this point. But I'm hoping I didn't go
I
too
think
high on
we
food.
have more than that for printing, right? I think we're at 600.
Charged me yet.
I just know that I'll owe them something for printing for this event. I just don't know how much. So I thought if I planned on 100, I'd be on the safe side.
Let me look tomorrow and I'll
Okay.
contact communications
Okay,
and see what those costs are,
okay.
because I haven't, yeah.
You're the invoice. I put you in there.
And I don't know if we owe the city any money for the marketing of the event too. So that was the other question, is if we owe money for like putting out the Facebook or, I don't know.
I don't think
I don't think so, because I don't know that they did any, I think they've absorbed that because it's the city coalition
Okay.
or commission.
Okay. I just didn't know. I didn't want to like overspend on the food and then have.
We'll
printing.
find out.
Okay.
Let me
And-
check tomorrow morning.
And then Debbie, I'll email you because I also need to figure out how to pay Cafe 180 for
Okay,
the food, but right
I
now.
can
it's-
call them with the credit card.
Yeah, and I guess whatever's left over is what I'll offer to put towards the food. So if there is extra money, then we can get a little more food. If there's less money, we'll tell them, and then they were gonna kick in a little bit of donation. So,
I'd also probably circle around with Emily to see if there's any rising seniors or just recently graduated seniors who are in the area who might be
interested.
interested.
I've been passing out flyers at all the events too.
Oh, cool. I mean, I feel like it's gotten out there.
Yeah.
So we'll see.
I have an artist that came for the 4th of July and I'm like, here, go to this too.
Yeah, awesome.
Yeah, I've given it to several neighbors, so.
And it'd be even awesome to like email these folks, like when you notify them, you might want to tell them like, we'd love to see you again. And like I said, Devil's Head Distillery, they're gonna market the fact that they really want a mural on their wall. So they're gonna be advertising that. They're also gonna bring in a live artist to be out there painting, and they brought in some more artists for their gallery, so.
Cool.
Yeah.
Cool.
Nice job, Kyle.
Okay,
So,
you guys have done a great job.
and I guess, I assume everybody on the subcommittee is there to volunteer, but we're all, anybody's available.
I would love
I'll be
everyone to be there. I'm hoping the whole subcommittee crew is gonna help me decorate the alley, because I guess that's a real priority.
But I guess I'm saying if you need volunteers.
Oh, yeah, I'd love anyone who can come and help. That would be great. I just want people there because I think it'll be on us to mingle and
Yeah.
really talk about the
Agreed.
commission.
Kyle, what time do you need us there?
I think, we'll talk about it afterwards. I'm guessing we'll need like an hour, but the big thing is making the alley look aesthetically pleasing.
Or 30, I'll bring my broom.
Yeah. Come prepared with mop and broom.
What time's the event again? I'm sorry, I just handed you this.
Six. I think we put 6 to 8. I think Devil's Head Distillery is willing to go to 10. But I told them that they should not expect all of us, like family folk, to be there until 10.
Anybody wants to work?
Oh, yeah, no.
Yeah.
Like, I would love
A lot of it.
After the concert, it's over.
There you go.
You may want to put something at, the Gothic
Oh, yeah. Yeah, absolutely.
and Moe's.
Yes.
Put something everywhere.
Yeah, just make it rain.
Make it rain. Make it
It's like a
rain.
ticker tape parade.
Any other questions for me? I think I covered
Yeah, that's great.
all the things.
Okay. CAC logo, we left this last meeting, going to an outside company to help. We've gone back and forth, I'll just say that.
A lot.
A lot. I think the ball's in their court at this point. We're trying to incorporate the city logo. We had the palette idea, and there was a limited amount that we could do with that. And so we were hoping that they could incorporate something similar just for us. So anyway, but they have come back with a ton of different things, but not really anything that I would say fits.
Does it scream cultural arts?
No, it does not scream cultural arts and does not fit kind of the direction we were headed, that we started with here. So we've gone back to them to ask for a little bit more specific.
I do have what they have submitted.
Okay,
If you
So
want.
far.
let's,
You
we can pull
judge
it
for
up.
yourself.
Yeah, you can judge for yourself. Yes, I don't want to, yeah.
So there's those two.
It looks very municipal.
It looks very
Hey,
municipal.
looks government, yeah.
Yeah, it looks like a polo shirt.
Although people won't be,
Yeah, that's
although
super
people
cool.
won't be excused to go
Did they miss that?
those, you know?
So I think even like this logo is close if they could just add like a palette.
Yeah,
Yeah,
just put
those-
the palette.
Just put the palette in and.
That's a greeting card.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah.
Like the insignia on the back.
What is that building with the spire?
I know.
This was the first round, and I'm like, so you should know, like, we don't have those buildings.
Like two-
So we're not New York
Pretty
City.
low level building, X.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's a work in progress, so we probably will not have,
The logo for the event.
unless,
Can we go back to the other ones that were before?
Or the,
The original ones, sorry. Yeah, those. Like if they could just put the palette where the tree is on. And use
Exactly.
the same font there.
We asked that question. That was my only request, was can we do this? And the answer was, no, we cannot change the city logo.
oh, can we put it like
On the
off to,
other
like after
end?
the D, like a little one after the D or something, or?
Oh, what if we put little like pallets hanging off the tree?
You can't change
Can't change
it.
Oh, you can't, okay, like you can't even make.
Like
it
little
a-
ornaments.
I understand, okay.
Or
I
like,
can ask about the palette behind the D or after.
like
the
a
D.
little, just a little,
I mean, that's our logo.
Yeah, I know.
You know, so it's up to you all if you
or
want to.
even like if they can include Cultural Arts Commission below palette, you know, like underneath the Englewood portion somehow.
That's a good idea, make the A a palette.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Or what about the palette as one of the O's in Englewood?
We can't change the logo. Can't change the logo.
I can ask that too. I think it was more of the structure, how it's laid out, so it's possible it'll be a no answer, but I'll ask if that, I did the first time say, can we incorporate the palette in this logo? And it was no, but I'll ask again.
Can we incorporate the word Englewood in the other ones? Because the other ones, you know, the Cultural Arts Commission,
Exactly.
Oh, up top.
can we put
Yeah.
Englewood in? Yeah. You with font. Like where it says cultural.
Do other
Englewood.
commissions or other committees within the city of Englewood have logos as well?
Not yet.
They all look like, on the bottom, what you see when it says City of Englewood and it
Uh-huh.
says Cultural Arts Commission.
And it'll just say
That's
like
what
library
every,
board
like,
or
ours
whatever.
is like
Okay.
Park Rec Library and Golf. And then there's Public Works, and then there's, you know, so they're all, and like,
They're all uniform. Okay.
yes.
There's
and
other initiatives like sustainability. Some of our events have gone with specific logos for those, like the block party is a good example.
markets.
The markets too have
Yeah.
a logo for those as a recognition, so
but they all have, it all says,
I
it
just
all
was like,
has
let's
that
copy
on it.
somebody else's.
I
So
know.
if we did Inglewood as part of like those top selections and added Inglewood to it, is there one of those 8 that you're like, that's the
I
one?
personally like the third one down in the second column.
Okay.
I don't like
If it's,
that
if that
font.
cultural, if it's at an
I don't know
angle
how
was
much I hate
there
that
and then
font.
underneath in that cursive, we could make it smaller.
And also now
I
after
like-
staring at the word cultural, I'm like, is that really how you spell it? It is.
I double checked that too.
I was like,
It's fun.
I like I actually like the cleaner font a little bit,
Right.
but with a mural, so I tend to gravitate towards
Bottom.
the bottom left.
That is my very close second. Those are my votes, but it
They can
doesn't,
work that in.
that logo doesn't have the color.
I also, I know we talked.
Well, that's true. I like the color on the palette, that's true.
Yeah,
So,
but especially if we're gonna
Push it.
crunch those words down.
Do they want their money back from 48 hour and then go with the city thing, or that's what
See, I like the idea of palette
I
onto the
like the
city,
palette.
the city of Inglewood, like, just because it's so clean and so clear it's Inglewood, and it doesn't like deviate from their branding, where if it just had a palette, it just is that little like
I'll
pop of
ask
us.
that if we can put it like at the end.
Yeah,
if it's not like too close to.
or could we do something where like this, like the Englewood, like we've got, like we can put a couple of the letters in different color or something?
Okay.
You know, just
We
to
can't
like,
change
you know, I know, I'm like, can we,
I kind of
We
feel like
just
the
changed
logo
the
of the
logo.
tree maybe more than
Oh,
the rest
okay.
of
The
it. I'll
verbiage.
ask that too.
we like color? Yeah, like a little bit of color, just
Or
a
yeah, or
little bit of
the-
spunk.
I wonder if the tree could be different colors, like, do the leaves different colors? Probably not, but it would be kind of fun, like having the tree.
More artsy.
Yeah.
Just like leave the rest the same, but then have the leaves in the tree be a different, to match the other branding
Once we
colors.
pick their colors, should be fine.
Yeah, those bottom colors there.
Mm-hmm.
Might be a way to pop
Yeah,
it differently.
exactly.
Use one of those colors.
Yeah.
I will ask all these questions.
Okay, thank you.
These are very important questions.
And is this something where if we got like a few back that we could decide in an email format, or would we have to come back?
So I'll kind of let Christina go.
Well, can we do voting through email?
I think as long as it does not require spending money.
Okay, so then there's a chance if we can get this back, we could,
Have this figured out by the next meeting.
Might not, so what an option is, not what I would suggest or anything, but I think one of the options is that I can reach out to 48 Hour Logo and say, at this point, we don't want to move forward with any of yours and see if they'll refund. Because if we don't take one of their logos, then they'll refund our money. And then, because these came from communications, if we can answer yes to any of these questions, then we go through communications.
right, exactly.
Yeah, I like the ones that came up with the palettes, I just wish it said Englewood.
Yeah.
So
if
if
we
they could
can-
squeeze that in.
If 48-hour logo will not refund, then what we should probably do is grab a couple options, the top options, and say, can you add Inglewood? And if they're not gonna give us our money back.
I think they will. I mean, it's part of the agreement.
Okay.
I mean, I'm gonna push hard.
Yeah.
If nothing else, I'll give it back just so that they don't have to talk to me. But, I mean, that's part of their thing that said if we don't meet your,
You get a refund.
you get a refund.
Okay.
So I'll read through that more.
Okay.
I'll try to get a hold of them, because he emailed me again today and said, do you have any questions? And I said, yeah, we gave you, like, we told you kind of where we were at.
Yeah.
And, so, but if you wanna ask communications, or if you want me to ask Amanda, or,
I'll send this over to Amanda and see what we can do.
but if
With
they
all
can
that.
answer yes to any of these things that.
Okay.
Got it.
Thank you.
Finish this before August.
Yeah, the logo is a beast.
This one's been hard.
Always hard.
It's a big decision.
Why
It
those-
is.
So hard to have like.
That's why those marketing.
Uniform
firms
too.
get paid so much.
Okay, I don't have any new business, but maybe for the next meeting, we can talk about the overpass.
No.
I think that would be good. And then, any upcoming events information you would like to?
Just got a lot. We've got, super excited about the block party. I love that you guys are having this interactive artist. I'm just gonna need logistics, like usually it's a 10 by 10 space. If they need more than that, you know, if we have an idea, if we're for sure, cause it's gonna, yep. We have 12 businesses. Over 50% of them don't live on the 3400 block, so like it's fun. So like Sanitas is gonna have a booth, Devil's Head is gonna have a booth. Zomo can come outside with their food and sell it. It's just I'm very excited about it. I think it's the most inclusive block party that we've had yet. Whiskey Biscuit will be down there. So we've expanded it a little bit. We're going to tabletop. Is that what it is? Tabletop is where our stage is going to be. So
cool.
we're just pushing through that intersection, just those two places. Had coffee with Mango Tree on Friday. They're gonna be out, they're gonna be open that night. So it's just gonna be really cool. And then to each bar, what's sold inside is drink inside and what's sold outside is drink outside. So like the Grand is coming out in the front, Brewability is coming out. So, and then in the middle is gonna be the ID and they get bracelets and a stamp, and then each of the vendors will have the cup. And so like there will be no question of if it's okay. I'm really excited about it. A lot of different players and Mo's can come down, and then we'll have food at both ends, but not down the middle of Broadway. So it'll be more of a street festival type thing, and we're not trying to walk around different food trucks and stuff. And we'll have vendors and art and concerts start tomorrow. So tomorrow night's our first concert. It's Hazel Miller.
Oh, nice.
And then we have our next market, which is gonna be at the Kaiser lot on Broadway on the 16th.
Cool.
So.
We do like a little shameless promo of our artist just because it's a kind of one of the family friendly events during the day. Can we juice that up a little bit ahead of time?
Like, what do you mean?
Like some social media or something?
Or the block party? Or
Yeah, for like the artists that we're gonna have, that's gonna be like a kind of a family friendly option.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, cool. I'd like to do that for her. Okay.
Yeah, and then obviously like, putting her to space and lights, what I mean? Just like, hey, kids this way type thing, so.
Yeah.
And we have
that actually would be good too, some signage, like.
Oh, we have that. We have our sandwich board. It's in my basement.
Yeah, we should do something, some signage about that. Okay.
And it would be cool to put that this is brought to you by CAC.
Yeah.
Sign, right? Yes.
Yeah, I have that.
Yeah,
Okay.
so, and then, we have a couple of other interactive things that are going on. Like one of the guys that's selling art, he was at the 4th of July and he let the kids paint on a canvas or whatever and then kind of set it up.
Yeah.
And then we'll have the bubble machine and face painters and balloon artists. So there's gonna be some kid friendly stuff there
cool.
too. So
When you advertise it, do you have it like grouped, like here's who your food vendors are, here's your drink vendors, here's your like interactive vendors, so that.
No, because they change all the time.
Oh.
Like the 4th of July, like some didn't come. So it's hard to do that. But we do because we have time, I think we're definitely gonna be able to put like the activities,
Okay.
so like CAC will have, interactive, whatever. And we'll have the bars. Yeah. But we don't really have like a map or anything to like tell people where to go just because everything's so fluid on that day and with us changing the footprint a little bit.
That's fine. We can be fluid. Okay, thank you. Fun.
Awesome, Tony.
That's gonna be awesome.
I'm excited.
Staff's choice.
I have a great update.
Oh, I know this one.
Do you?
Yes,
I think
I
you
do.
I think it was forwarded to you. So,
Yes.
the MOA board voted to keep some of their art here. Originally, it was gonna be like $50,000 a year for the city to pay to keep art, and they more or less just said, forget it. Let's just move forward and keep our art pieces here. The display made sense. They may rotate pieces throughout the years, so that was really great news. The pressure is off to make any decisions on what to do, how to move forward. So we're excited about that. And Tim is actually on vacation. Tim Baca, our CAC rep, he's on vacation. So that was great news that we received that the board wants to keep the art here. And
Very generous.
yeah, it's huge. It's big. So
Do we need to do like a thank you or something from us, like from our commission, to let them know, like,
yeah.
wow, we think you're the most amazing humans and we love you.
I'm sure Reese has told them that already, but we are planning, originally we were going to council later this month to decide how to proceed. Actually, it was supposed to go in June, and then they came back at the last minute and said, don't worry about it. We'll keep the art. So I think October, it's late October, we're gonna take this to council as a recognition of the MOA and what they've done for the city. And so that might be a great time for like Reese possibly, or anyone else that's involved, to be at that council meeting, to in addition with council thanking them, CAC can also thank them for their efforts.
What day is that?
We should do that in the magazine.
October or something.
Okay.
Yeah, that would be a nice,
Like
and the
25th.
catalog, like the citizen guide of the magazine that they gave us, or that they're
Actually,
providing us to.
we are giving them space in the magazine to advertise things too, so
Okay.
it may be the winter issue. We just finished the fall issue right now, so
Cool.
anyways, it's all good news.
Yeah, that's good. Chelsea, anything from your side or council?
Yeah. First of all, sorry I can't be there in person. I'm under the weather, but glad I can join virtually. This is such a great meeting. You guys are getting through so much and getting into the meat of so many of your projects, which is really exciting. I think a note I would share from a council perspective on the median project, which for me is one of the things that I'm the most excited about to see come out of this commission, is just really the opportunity that you have in placemaking for the city, like to decide what people will see when they enter our city. And I would really encourage you all to take some time to think about what's important about Inglewood, or what are the things that we want to communicate about who Inglewood is for folks who come through, because especially so many people in Hampton don't live in Inglewood, but use that as a thoroughfare. And so want you guys to feel a lot of like freedom and ownership over what that looks like, but also excited to see how you lean into community identity. I would love to see it feel very Inglewood and not very generic. So those are some thoughts from our perspective. Also, just for awareness, for the very first time in memory, City Council is on a brief summer recess. We took off this week and we'll be off on Monday, 2 weeks. We've never taken a break before, and so we will be back at it in mid-July, but it's going to be a little quiet from us. And then we are in the thick of budget. We did get feedback on capital improvement and everyone's work on that, so appreciate those who participated on the boards and commissions. And yeah, that's all. If you have any questions, let me know.
What am I gonna watch on YouTube now? Kidding. Kind of. All right, I'm the commissioner's choice. I don't have anything else, but I will leave it open for the commission if anybody has anything. No? No? All right, well then I'd say we adjourn. How about you guys?
Just so y'all know, Pirates Cove, I forgot to say this.
Oh yeah, tonight.
It's adult night. If you want to go, it's $6 to get in. It's a little chilly out there, but there is beer and music, so.
Oh, I didn't know there was, oh man, thank you.
And if you can't make tonight's, there's another one.
Yeah, when is the
On
next
August
one?
6th.
August 6th, right?
More beer and music.
More beer and music.
No kidding.
I forgot. Thanks, everyone.